In the busy city of Jericho, long ago, there lived a wealthy man named Zacchaeus who was a chief tax collector. Zacchaeus, a short man with a neat dark beard, wore fine expensive robes and lived in a grand and beautiful house. As a chief tax collector, Zacchaeus was one of the very richest men in all of Jericho. But the people of the city did not like him at all, and no one wanted to be his friend. Tax collectors worked for the Romans, and they often took far more money than they truly should. Many people believed that Zacchaeus had cheated them, taking extra coins to make himself richer. So wherever Zacchaeus went, the people turned away and whispered unkind things about him. Though he was very wealthy, Zacchaeus was lonely, and deep inside his heart felt empty and sad. One day, wonderful news spread quickly through Jericho that Jesus himself was coming to their city. Everyone had heard of Jesus, the kind teacher who healed the sick and truly loved everyone. Zacchaeus felt a stirring deep in his heart, and he wanted very much to see Jesus for himself. So he hurried out into the streets, quickly joining the great crowd that was gathering everywhere. Huge crowds of people lined both sides of the road, all hoping to catch a glimpse of Jesus. But Zacchaeus had a big problem, for he was a very short man indeed. No matter how hard he tried, he simply could not see over the tall crowd of people. He stood on his tiptoes and stretched his neck, but all he could see were backs and shoulders. The people would not let him through, for no one would make room for a tax collector. Zacchaeus began to feel discouraged, thinking he would never get to see Jesus at all. But Zacchaeus was clever, and all at once a bright new idea came into his mind. He noticed a large leafy sycamore tree growing right beside the road up ahead. So Zacchaeus ran as fast as his legs could carry him, hurrying to reach the tree first. Then, forgetting all about his fine robes, he began to climb up into the branches. Higher and higher he climbed, until at last he had a perfect view of the road below. Now Zacchaeus could see everything clearly, and he waited eagerly among the green leaves. Soon Jesus came walking down the road, surrounded on every side by the pressing crowd. Jesus, a man with a kind and gentle face, drew closer and closer to the sycamore tree. Zacchaeus watched with great excitement, never once expecting what would happen next. When Jesus reached the sycamore tree, he stopped walking and looked up into the branches. Then Jesus called out to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry now and come down at once. For I must stay at your house today," Jesus said to him with a warm and loving smile. Zacchaeus could hardly believe his own ears, for Jesus somehow knew his very name. Filled with overflowing joy, Zacchaeus climbed down from the tree as quickly as he possibly could. He welcomed Jesus gladly, overjoyed that such a great and good teacher would visit his home. But when the crowd saw this happen, they began to grumble and complain among themselves. "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner," they muttered with clear disapproval. Why would Jesus ever eat with a cheating tax collector like Zacchaeus? They all wondered. But Jesus paid no attention to their grumbling, and he went with Zacchaeus to his home. Something truly wonderful had begun to change deep inside the heart of Zacchaeus that day. Standing before Jesus in his house, Zacchaeus rose to his feet with a bold new decision. "Look, Lord," he said, "right now I will give half of everything that I own to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay them back 4 times as much." The great kindness of Jesus had melted away all the greed that once filled his heart. Jesus smiled warmly at him and said, "Today salvation has truly come to this house. For this man, too, is a son of Abraham and a beloved child of God. The Son of Man came to seek and to save all those who were lost," Jesus said gently. Zacchaeus was changed forever that day, no longer greedy, but generous and kind. He gave back everything he had wrongly taken, and he shared all his riches with great joy. The once lonely man had finally found a true friend in Jesus, and his empty heart was full. Jesus had shown that no one is ever too lost or too sinful to be loved and forgiven, and that when we open our hearts to him, he can change our whole lives completely.